With us now is Kansas Senator Roger Marshall. Senator, good to see you, and thank you for coming on. We do appreciate that. I just wanted to point out, again, back to that claim by Governor Walz that he was in Tiananmen protest there in, again, when that happened. But in fact, records suggest he left for Hong Kong and China of August of that year, not May. But it wasn't just that. The Associated Press went on to say that he's misrepresented facts about infertility treatment, his 1995 arrest for drunk driving, also his rank in the National Guard, different versions of that. And at the end of the day on stage, how he answered, he said he's a knucklehead. Your thoughts on the response by Governor Walz and what was said?
Sean, Katie, good morning. I guess your reporter said he embellishes. I guess you could call it that. He reminds me a lot of Joe Biden, that he embellishes, and really he's a chronic liar. But regardless, at the end of the day, I'm so proud of JD from last night. JD Vance mopped the floor with Tim Walz. JD was an excellent professional. And I tell you who clearly won the debate last night, and that was the American people. For the first time on a legacy news channel, America got to hear policy for about an hour and a half. And JD got to brag on the accomplishments of what Donald Trump did, that Donald Trump gave us a secure border and a strong economy. And he pointed out once again that Kamala, who cannot be separated from Joe Biden's policies, that she was an abstract failure. So exciting day for us last night. America wins, and I can't wait until November the 5th.
Yeah, Senator, I'm glad you brought that up. Let's talk about the civility factor, because watching last night's debate, I think a lot of people felt really relieved to see finally two people debate the issues in a way that we haven't seen in many years. How important was that for both of these men to show civility to one another? And how do you think that played out for both of them in the debate?
Well, I think it is good for America to see that, because that is really what my life is like on the Senate. There is lots of civility. But we disagree on some pretty major issues, but we're still can have a friendship. What I thought was interesting, by about 30 minutes into the debate, Tim Walz, first of all, he was beet red, but he was nodding in agreement with JD. So as JD laid out the policies and laid out the defense, it looked like Tim Walz was agreeing with him, like we'd won him over. But it was great to see them be able to share. And again, it's like JD walked in there with a full house of aces and queens, and got to share the policy of Donald Trump. Victories on the southern border, keeping us safe, a strong economy. Versus Tim Walz, all he had was twos and threes, had nothing that he could share, nothing he could point to as success. And by the way, Kamala, you've had 3.5 years to fix some of these problems.
Yeah, you heard a lot of, you heard in terms of narrative, you heard this man was weird, other names being called within legacy media, mainstream media at times. And then what you saw last night was a well-prepared, intelligent senator, young senator from Ohio, being able to take the debate stage. Senator, you're on the Homeland Security Committee that oversees the Secret Service. Last night, after the debate, former President Donald Trump's son, Don Jr., had a tense moment with one of the anchors there, CNN's Caitlin Collins, when he blamed her and the rest of the mainstream media for the recent assassination attempts. We have that soundbite here. Watch this.
You know, the media did that. They created so much of that environment. The media has radicalized the people that are trying to kill my father. I've had to deal with that twice now in the last 2 months. I've had to have that conversation with my 5 young children twice in the last 2 months about someone trying to shoot their grandfather. You know, that didn't just magically happen. That's not him. That's a media-created fake Russia scenario. They ran with it for years. Even when it was disproven, they still ran with it. You know, that environment wasn't just created by Donald Trump.
Okay, but can I say, you can't blame, and everyone wants your dad to be safe. No one wants the threats against his life to happen, but you can't blame the media for those threats. There's been no evidence that's what drove those.
And allows people to have a platform to call someone literally Hitler every day for 9 years, it creates it. Okay. Whether you want to believe it or not, that's a fact.
And Senator, do you have a thought on that?
Yeah, I do. So 9 years of the media directly attacking Donald Trump, not his policies, but attacking Donald Trump, saying that Donald Trump is the threat to democracy. I want to compare and contrast this. When President Trump talks about the Democrat parties, he talks about that their policies will lead to a decay in our republic, that an open southern border destroys our republic, that lack of voter integrity destroys our republic. And that's the big difference here. 9 years, legacy media, social media attacking Donald Trump. Go back to the baseball shooting with Steve Scalise. That was fueled by a crazy guy listening to the national media as well. The number one goal of the legacy media is to make people mad, and they've done a heck of a job doing it.
No shortage of crazy people with guns out there. Moving on, I want to get to your thoughts on the wars unfolding in the Middle East right now. Iran firing around 180 ballistic missiles, one cruise missile at Israel. Israel saying it will retaliate. Yesterday morning, though, Secretary of State Antony Blinken wrote an op-ed titled America's Strategy of Renewal, Blinken writing, let's show this, quote, the Biden administration's strategy has put the United States in a much stronger geopolitical position today than it was 4 years ago. We demonstrated to Iran that there was a path back to a mutual return to compliance if Iran was willing to take it, while maintaining a robust sanctions regime and our commitment that Iran will never be permitted to obtain a nuclear weapon. This seems like a big disconnect between reality and what was, unfolding in his mind, I guess.
Yeah. Don't listen to what they say. Watch what they do. Donald Trump gave us peace through strength. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris continue to give us war through weaknesses. There's at least 3 wars, a 4th one about to break out. It smells like World War III could be out there. What we need is leadership in the White House, someone that'll stand up and say, number one, Israel has unequivocally the right to defend themselves. Number 2 is that America is steadfast in our friendship to our great ally, Israel. And there needs to be a very, very significant response to Iran, much like President Reagan responded when they attacked some of our ships. We sunk some of their ships and attacked some of their offshore oil platforms. But look, we need to empower Israel to do what they need to do. We need to tell the rest of the world to stand up and let Israel defend themselves. They have every right to do it. And because of Kamala Harris and their policies, Iran is just weeks away from having a nuclear weapon. So next time we could be intercepting missiles over Israel, they could be loaded with nuclear warheads.
Senator Roger Marshall joining us with that. Senator, good to see you. Thank you for your time.
Yep. Go Royals.